All right, let's talk about the future of graphic design. Is it a dead end or is it actually a brand new beginning? With things like AI and super easy design tools everywhere, it's a huge question, so let's dig in. So let's just get right to it. If you're thinking about a graphic design career in, say, 2026, are you making the dumbest decision of your life? I mean, that's the fear, right? We're hearing it from everyone, from students just starting out to pros who've been in the game for years. And you know what? It's a totally fair question. The anxiety is real. So let's actually unpack what's going on here. And look, let's be honest, the threats feel very real. You've got AI that can spit out a logo in, what, seconds? Faster than you can make a cup of coffee. Then you have tools like Canva, which are awesome, but they've basically made everyone a designer. The lines are getting super blurry. On top of all that, the market is just flooded with talent from all over the world, and those $60,000 degrees, they're really struggling to prove their worth. It really is the perfect storm of, uh-oh. So yeah, the whole career feels like it's at a major crossroads. But before we all panic and declare the designer extinct, let's actually look at the data that's causing all this anxiety. Okay, so a lot of this "the sky is falling" talk comes down to one little number: 3%. That's the US government's projected growth for graphic design jobs over the next 10 years. And yeah, when you compare that to a bunch of other fields, 3% looks, well, it looks pretty slow. It's not hard to see why that number makes people nervous. But here's where it gets really interesting. That 3%, it's actually better than the growth rate we saw for the last 2 decades. So wait a minute, the industry isn't collapsing at all? It's changing. The real issue here isn't the job disappearing, it's that the job description is being completely rewritten. And that brings us to the absolute core of this whole thing. It's about a massive mindset shift. Are you a decorator or are you a problem solver? Getting this distinction right, well, it's everything. So first up, what in the world is a decorator? Think of this as the old school model of a designer. You're basically hired to make things look nice. Someone gives you a set of instructions, you fire up Photoshop or, yeah, even Canva, and you produce the pretty picture. Your entire value is tied to how good you are with the tools. And that role, that's the one that's directly in the crosshairs of AI and templates. And when you put them side by side, the difference is just night and day. The decorator, they're all about aesthetics. They follow instructions and they end up competing on price, which is just a race to the bottom, right? But the problem solver, they're all about strategy. They're asking bigger questions, like, forget what it looks like for a second. What problem are we actually trying to solve here? They're not competing on price. They're competing on the value they bring to the table. And if you need a really concrete, high-stakes example of why just being a decorator is so risky, think about this. Let's say a business creates a logo in Canva using stock images. Guess what? They can't trademark it. No way. Why? Because they don't actually own the pieces they use to build it. A problem solver gets this. They know a logo isn't just some cool-looking graphic. It's a unique, legally protectable asset for a company. And that one little fact is a huge difference between being a pro and just decorating. So where does this whole problem-solving thing actually lead you? Well, it leads you straight into booming fields like UX and UI design. This is it. This is the real, tangible evolution of what it means to be a designer today. And hey, if you're not totally sure what UX and UI are, no worries. Let's do a super quick breakdown. UX, that's user experience, is all about how an app or a website feels. Is it easy to use? Does it make sense? Is it frustrating or is it a joy? Then you have UI, the user interface. That's the stuff you actually see and touch. The buttons, the colors, the typography. Put them together and you get a digital product that doesn't just look good, it actually works for people. This chart here really lays it all out. Traditional graphic design, the main goal is making things look visually appealing. Logos, posters, that kind of stuff. But UX/UI design, the goal is to create an experience that's intuitive and user-friendly. The whole focus shifts from just how it looks to how it works. It's a huge change in thinking, from pure aesthetics to deep functionality. And you know where that shift in thinking shows up? Right in the paycheck. Just look at this. The average UX designer earns a lot more than the average graphic designer. And why is that? It's simple, really. The market pays a huge premium for people who can solve strategic problems that directly affect the bottom line. Things like keeping users on an app longer or making it easier for them to buy something. Okay, so this is all great, but how do you actually do it? How do you forge your own path and become the kind of designer who's not just surviving, but is absolutely essential?
Here's the most important thing to remember. It is not about the software you master. It really isn't. Whether it's Photoshop today or Figma tomorrow, those tools will always change. The one thing that will never go out of style? The mindset. The mindset of a strategic problem solver.
So here's your toolkit for building a future-proof career. Number 1, become a strategist. Always focus on the why before you even think about the what. Number 2, specialize. Don't be a jack of all trades. Become the go-to person for something specific, like UX for medical apps or eco-friendly packaging. Third, learn to use AI as your assistant, your co-pilot. Use it to brainstorm and iterate faster, not to replace your thinking. And finally, number 4, never stop learning. School is just the beginning. The real work is staying curious forever.
It's funny. It's never been easier to get into design, but it's just as hard as it's ever been to get good at it. And the real value, the thing that makes you indispensable, isn't that final, polished solution you deliver. It's the messy, complicated, strategic journey you took to figure out what the real problem was in the first place.
So let's go back to our original question. Is graphic design a dead end? Well, it is, but only if you choose to be a decorator. If you decide to be a problem solver, it's not a dead end at all. It's a wide open frontier. So the question for you isn't what pretty thing will you make next? It's you're a problem solver. What problem will you solve next?